Welcome to the Savage Nation. This can be called God Talk or God Talks, or The Ancient Jew Speaks, or Hello from the Savage Nation. But it's Sunday morning, and I'm going to do a God Talk on a topic that this morning in bed, I was thinking on it last night. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do for God Talk today. And as I woke up at dawn, these words came to me. I wrote them down. The Word of God, the Word of man. Torah, Talmud, the Word of God, the Word of man. Because I was trying to figure out the difference between the Torah and the Talmud. I'm not a Jewish scholar. I'm a secular Jewish person with just a scattering of knowledge of my own traditions. But I'm in tune with God, at least I believe so. I speak to God, and sometimes He answers me. Sometimes He ignores me. I was going to do a whole show on how do you get God to answer you. Would you rather I do that? I'll do that another time. I'll probably incorporate that in today's show, which is how to get God to answer you, And I'm trying to get the chat going. For some reason, I don't see you there. I don't know what's wrong. I know this is live, but I don't understand why I can't see your comments. It's just as well. Maybe it's not even broadcasting. But these things happen. Modern technology is bewildering sometimes. I'm going to do something for myself for the moment. I'm going to go on X and see if we're broadcasting on X live. And if we are, the Word of God versus the Word of man. Good. I'm famous for 10 seconds on X while it sets itself up. The problem with X is that you go on it, you get overwhelmed by so many other things. Happy Pride Month. No, thank you. Waltz, Democrat Party, hypocrisy. I don't want to read any of that. It's easy to get distracted. It creates ADD if you go on these sites. But I really want to see your comments, and I don't see them. I don't quite know what it is. I put on chat, and it brings up yesterday's chat. Yesterday's show was pretty good, which was where have all the fiscal conservatives gone? It was very well received. But I'm getting the comments from that one rather than from today's broadcast of the Word of God versus the Word of man. So I won't be able to see what you're saying. For some reason, I don't get it. I don't quite get this thing very well. Pardon me, I'm just warming up. I'm having my coffee. It's cold. It's early in the morning. And I see it's out of sync again because I'm looking at X, and what I said a few minutes ago is now, oh, God. So you're going to have to put up with the fact that this is out of sync, okay? It's just not working. In fact, I eliminated the chat. Okay. So here we go. The Word of God versus the Word of man. I was trying to think about the difference between the Torah, which are the 5 books of Moses, which I know and I knew. The Talmud, on the other hand, is a collection of rabbinic teachings, discussions, and interpretations of the Torah and other scriptural texts written over centuries. And yet, online, I see a lot of the moronic anti-Semites who can hardly read English telling me that the Talmud is anti-Christian. I didn't even know where this came from. I have no idea why anti-Semites quote the Talmud when they can hardly read and write English. And yet they're telling me they understand what the Talmud says in Aramaic. So, you could find this about any religion. You can hand, cherry pick, and misquote any religious text and say, aha, this shows you that they hate me. Or they can fabricate accusations. So there are accusations of anti-Christian sentiment from I would say, the ignorant, uneducated anti-Semites out there who just want to hate Jews. And they always say the Talmud says this about Christians. The Talmud says that. about Christians. The Torah, rather. The Talmud, sorry. But if you actually look into it, you'll find out that these unwashed morons are basing most of this hatred for Jews, because they want to hate Jews. Their hatred for the Talmud is based upon a book written in 1892 by some Justinus Prenatus, never heard of him, called The Secret Rabbinical Teachings Concerning Christians. And they're made up quotations from the Talmud and Zohar, which allegedly demonstrate that Judaism despises non-Jews and promotes the murder or injury of non-Jews in some instances. So this early anti-Semite, Prenatus, drew his writings upon the earlier works of a guy, Ecker and Rowling. You will find this quoted very often from ignoramuses who are barely literate in English. And yet they use it as an excuse to hate Jewish people, and you wonder why there's so much anti-Semitism in the world right now. It's coming from many different sources. They're now using the war in Gaza as an excuse to be the bigots that they've always been. I just want to stick to my idea of the Torah, the Word of God, versus Talmud, the Word of man, if you don't mind, because that was my inspiration this morning when I said to myself, what is the difference between the Torah and the Talmud? And it's simple to me, the Word of God versus the Word of man. And I think you should remember that. Take that as the message to take home. And I think I'm going to now transition into the topic that I prepared for you, which was how do you get God to answer you? I think that that's more important right now than what I'm talking about, the Talmud Torah, because this is a God talk. And many of you still go to church or synagogue, mostly to church, and you enjoy this broadcast that I do on Sundays on God Talk because it helps you understand your own religion from a different point of view, because you're a tolerant person who wants to understand and doesn't come into this audience of mine with preconceived notions about me or about what I'm saying. I found an email that someone had sent me, I don't even know when or where, years ago, and I titled it, When Will God Answer You? And I'm going to read it to you. He or she wrote this to me. I listened to a Coptic Christian many years ago give a lecture on the story of Moses. He says, I will fast forward to how did the slaves survive in the desert? This is what the Coptic Christian said. After Moses fled Egypt, he found himself in that same desert. He had to learn everything about the desert in order to survive, which snakes were poisonous, how to navigate during the day, and how to navigate by the stars at night. Where were the areas in the sands that had water? And since there were merchants and tribes in the desert, Moses became acquainted with the tribes and learned their languages. He met and married a tribal woman and learned their culture. Moses learned to fit in, and he lived with those tribes, learning to live in the desert, which took years. And although he didn't know it, God was waiting for Moses to learn how to navigate that desert. Since Moses, when the time was right, would be called by God to transport safely those Jewish slaves who would have died in the desert without an experienced leader called Moses. Moses was not called by God until he knew everything he needed to know to get those slaves to the promised land safely. Michael, thank you for sharing your knowledge on religion. It was very interesting. I don't even know who this person was. I just found that sometimes I get very intelligent people, and they're a pleasure to see. There are signs of intelligence in the human race out there. You have to look for it. So I guess what I'm saying to you is God will answer you when you're ready to receive him. God will answer your prayers when you are ready to receive his word, is what I'm trying to say to you. Many of you say, I try to pray and nothing happened. You did the mumbo jumbo, or you put your hands together and got on your knees and said, "Dear God, please help me," and nothing happened. You thought it would be a Technicolor movie. You thought that the sky would rumble and lightning would come out in the sky and that your prayers would be answered like a little child. But that's not the way it works. You have to be ready with knowledge in order to have God answer you. And even then, sometimes he will, and sometimes he won't answer you. That's the way it is. He's a busy guy. He can't always answer your emails. But you have to keep trying. You have to keep talking to him. If you stop talking to God, there is no God. He disappears from you, but he's still there, ruling over everything. If you stop talking to him, if you stop reaching out to him, of course he's going to go away. He's more important than you are. You want him to answer you immediately because you think you're as important as God. That's not the way it works. God will answer you anyway, whether you know it or not, when he's ready to answer you, when he gets around to you. So did I answer your question? When will God answer you? Or when will God answer your prayers? What did I say to you? I said to you, he'll answer you when he thinks you're ready to receive him. Just as Moses didn't hear from God until he knew everything there was to know about the desert, so he could lead his people out of the desert through his knowledge, his intimate knowledge of the desert. So you have to understand that not only do you have to increase your knowledge about spiritual things and about God in your own religion, by the way. If you're a Christian, learn Christianity. If you're a Buddhist, study Buddhism. If you're a Hindu, study Hinduism. If you're a Muslim, study Islam. If you're a Jew, study Judaism. That's the right religion for you. It's the religion of your grandparents. You don't have to be a genius to figure it out. What was the religion of your grandparents? That's your religion. You don't have to latch onto a new age religion. Put on the act when you go into a Chinese restaurant and bow and they don't know what the hell you're doing. You ask them for water, and here in San Francisco, the white people go and ask for water. The Chinese guy gives them a glass of water and they bow to him like this. The guy looks at him, he looks at them like they're insane. What are you bowing to me for? People are very funny. They're like children. They want a virtue signal wherever they go, the liberals. They drive around with Teslas saying, I bought a Tesla before Elon Musk was crazy. These are stupid people. In Florida, I didn't see one such idiotic sign. Here, you got people looking over their shoulder to see if they're accepted by unknown people out there. Well, let me get back to the God talk because I'm almost through today. I'm almost through. Things are going to be briefer for me now. I don't have to go on forever. Brief is good. Just to stay on the air and talk with you is not good. I was watching someone who I respect try to do a stream of consciousness. He's a very well-known conservative scholar who's very smart, has a very big audience. But he tried to do a stream of consciousness just getting up like I do and talk, and it became incoherent. Stream of consciousness is an art form that is inherent in me, and I've been using it for 30 years. It goes back to the biblical writings, by the way. I once did a whole show, where did stream of consciousness originate? I studied it once. It seems like I'm disconnected in my thinking and my thoughts and my discussions with you sometimes, but it isn't. Stream of consciousness is an art form. It's like an impressionist painting as opposed to a realistic painting. See, behind me, over here I have Herzog, whereas Herzog is here, the Matterhorn, Herzog. That's a realistic painting of the Matterhorn. It's a work of art. It's a masterpiece. There's a statue of Napoleon. That's a realistic picture. There's a picture of Teddy over there. I'm trying to use the right hand. There's my dog Teddy, who's in heaven. That's a realistic painting. Here is a sort of expressionist painting of a scene from San Francisco, but not really an impressionist painting. It's an expressionist painting, not an impressionist painting. Stream of consciousness is a form of audio based upon thoughts that seem disconnected, but if you listen to them as a whole, it becomes a whole. So let me conclude where I began. When will God answer you? When you're ready for him. If you're not ready for him, he won't answer you. And even if you're ready for him, may not be ready for you. It's that simple. Or as Bruce Lee wrote, you can't learn to swim on dry land. You can't learn to swim on dry land. It's a great statement about learning martial arts. In order to learn martial arts, you have to fight. You can't learn it by reading a book. In order to reach God, you have to live and you have to suffer a little bit. Hopefully not a lot, just a little bit. Pardon me, it's very early for me. And then God will answer you. If he hears you yell out to him, God, please save me. God, please save me. He will answer you. But if you just do it, up here instead of from here, you're not going to get an answer. You'll get nothing. You'll go home from that house of worship as empty as you went in. So the next time you go to a house of worship, go in with a real desire to pray to God. People say, what do you mean pray to God? What does that mean? If he is so great, what does he need you to bow down to him for? You ever watch the Muslims pray? They get on their knees and they bow down to God. Christians might do a little bit of this. The Jews bow to God, the authentic Jews, the pious Jews in their synagogue, they will bend the knee and bow to God. But most of us modern people will not bow down to an unknown phantom because we think we're great unto ourselves. So we don't bow down. And eventually God will humble you and you will bow down broken like a puppet whose strings have been cut. That's what's going to happen anyway, no matter how strong you think you are, no matter how powerful you think you are. Your strings will be cut one day. And you will be, if you're still living, on a gurney. And on that gurney, I like to use the iambic pentameter once in a while. On that journey, on that gurney, God will answer you. But don't wait for that day. Pray to God. Beg God to answer you in a small way. But don't expect him to appear in the living room in a white sheet. It's not the way God answers you. I sometimes can hear God speak to me, and the rationalists would say you're insane. They think all religious people are insane. That's because they're insane. The craziest people on earth generally are therapists and psychiatrists. And I've known some beautiful people in those fields, but they were all seeking answers to their own inner problems through their profession. It's sad to tell you, but one of the highest rates of suicide is among psychiatrists. It could be because they're disturbed to begin with. It could be because I think it was Freud who said that we are like a clear stream. And as we talk to those who are filled with problems, they are basically dumping their polluted water into our clear water. And eventually our clear water becomes polluted. And that happens to therapists and psychiatrists. They get overwhelmed from dealing with people's problems. They can only carry so much until eventually they become sick themselves and they can't deal with it and they might, end their lives. I don't know. I guess that's the way it goes. So you have to be very careful who you talk to in this world. You have to be very careful what you read online, whose opinions and thoughts you permit to enter your soul. See, I'm giving you advice now. I went from God will answer you when you're ready to I'm giving you answers. And that's the danger of the internet, of social media. The danger of social media is that very bad people and very stupid people can say whatever they would like, and they think that their opinions or thoughts are equal to those of some of the greatest minds of all time or some of the greatest minds of our generation. And this is the problem. If you read them, you can get very, very disturbed. So I would suggest that you don't look at comments on something you may post because you're going to get stupid and evil people trying to upset you. Like right now, I can't see what you're saying. It's lovely. I mean, God actually helped me today. I've been clicking chat all day and it won't come up. Good, because I can't see what you're saying. I'm free of you. I feel liberated. If I'm not looking at what anyone's saying, I'm liberated. I know I'm out of sync. I can see it. I looked at it for 1 minute on X, and my voice and my image are out of sync. You'll just have to put up with it. Like if I pick up this cup of coffee to have a sip, it won't come up for about 20 seconds. So your mind is going to have to adjust the word and the images. I can't do it for you. For some reason, this program I'm using is screwed up. But the words themselves are pretty good. I can feel it. I feel I've said what I wanted to say today, and I hope you've gotten something very good from this God talk today. I can backtrack it for you and review it and summarize it. When will God answer you? When he feels you're ready to be heard, when you're ready to hear him. Sorry. I told you the story of Moses in the desert. At the beginning, I explained the difference between the Torah and the Talmud. Torah are the 5 books of Moses, the word of God. Talmud is the word of man, written through centuries, originally in the Aramaic. And yet, you'll see anti-Semites, generally they're the illiterate ones, express the Talmud. They say, oh, the Talmud says the Talmud. They can hardly read English. They probably have not read a full book in their entire life, but they know about Aramaic, written in the 13th century. And they'll tell you the Talmud hates Christians. That's because they are ignoramuses. And this is where bigotry comes from, usually from very stupid people. You just have to tolerate them, even though they don't tolerate you. And on that note, I will have to say sayonara. I know it's 22 minutes so far of wonderful conversation and you want me to stay. But I'm going to actually, when I get off here, go back to the program I'm using and go back to the chat I'm having with the company as to why I'm out of sync. So if my voice and my image, my lips are out of sync, try to just hear what I'm saying. And eventually we'll get this fixed. In the interim, if you're watching me on YouTube, hit the like button. It does matter. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. In fact, I'm going to go on my YouTube channel and see how messed up that looks. One thing about YouTube is crazy is the screenshots that come up are pretty bad. Live, the Word of God versus the Word of Man. It's a good title. I would watch it. Yet no one's watching it. Very few people are watching it. It's early on a Sunday. I look back on what people looked at the most. It was my cooking shows. Or here's one they all liked, which was Come Fly With Me in an airplane holding my dog. And yet my biggest audiences are from my cooking shows. Frozen Scallops Over a Divided Nation. People love my cooking shows. I don't understand why they like the cooking so much. I do know. I psychologically know. Hunter's Chicken Cacciatore Over a Lunatic Fringe. That was very popular. Well, here's a non-cooking one that was big. Zelensky as Rasputin, lost in his own act. That was big. Everyone, I'm looking at my own. Savage Pesto, Frozen Shrimp, and Potatoes Over Media Lies. That was big. Here's another one. I'm holding a vegetable. I got a lot of views on that. People like conspiracy talk and they like cooking. If you look at it. No more H-1B visas. Savage cooks a steak dinner. That was a big one. Has Trump eliminated the H-1B visas, or is Google still collecting the cheap help? So people don't like serious stuff that much. They like it a little bit. They really like a little humor. Tsunami warning my ass. More lies from the state of California. That was popular. I'm looking back at my own channel. And the big ones were the cooking shows. Here's another one. Michael Savage's Live 7 months ago. I don't know what I was cooking. I haven't cooked in a long while. I'm fed up with it. I can't stand it anymore. I actually hate cooking. Red prawns over a broken nation. I don't mind the cooking. Like my mother used to say, I hate the cleanup. It's just not fun. Here's a big one. Tarragon chicken over an assassinated nation. That was big. 8 months ago. That was a good one. That was a good show. Okay, well, you got the picture. I'm not going to do a cooking show. It's not just the audience. I do enjoy it. But the problem with the cooking shows is twofold. One, there's too much vanity and the cleanup is a mess. I don't enjoy it anymore. Like last night, it's a long weekend. For some reason, since Memorial Day, no one's on the road. I don't know where everyone is. What is everyone on? Doesn't anyone work in America? Everyone took an extended 2-week holiday around Memorial Day. Now it's summer. They're going to be gone again. Doesn't anybody work? I see Mexicans across the street fixing a house. They work from 8 in the morning till 6 at night. They work. The hardest working people in America are the Mexican immigrants. You never saw workers like this. They're great. That's why I'm very, very concerned about this deportation. I don't mind deporting the criminals and the grifters and the thieves. But I don't like them throwing gardeners out of the country. That's like the cop who arrests. That's like the cop on the highway who pulls over the white woman in a suburban car with 2 children in the back to give her a speeding ticket because he's afraid to pull over the gangbangers with the boom boxes. I don't like DHS deporting gardeners. I'm sorry. It bothers me very deeply. Get the gangbangers out. We all want that. But please don't go coward on us now and throw the poor, innocent, hardworking gardeners out. Thank you very much, if you don't mind. So here we are. Michael Savage Lot. Did I just end the stream by accident? May have. Oh, here we go. Here we got the anti-Semites. I got it. We got them there. They are. The idiots are on there now. I'll look at them later, and then we'll delete the morons. All I got to do is hit one button. It says delete forever. Okay. We don't care what they say. We get rid of them for good. Then they change their name. These are the stupid people. They're the people who threw innocent Jews in the ovens and watched children suffer as they burn them alive. There's plenty of them around us now in this country. Oh, yeah. You can hear them. You can see them online. Kill the immigrant, throw the immigrant out, hate the Jew. They're all over the internet. It's good that we can see that they're still here. Some things do not change through time. Do you know that? Oh, here's an intelligent question. I'll try to answer it. Michael, it disappeared. I don't know. Where did it go? The words are back in sync. Oh, they fixed it? Thanks, James. God will answer you when you truly need him. You have to surrender to God. That's right. You have to surrender to God. I did a show based upon, well, actually, it wasn't based upon it. It's in my great book, God, Faith, and Reason, which is out of print. Don't accuse me of selling you a book. I wish I could. I have to reprint it. It's just a great book, probably my most important book, one of them. This and Teddy and Me, very important books. But there's a piece in here called Jewish Gangster Finds God, where I interviewed a Jewish gangster. And he actually said that he had to be broken before God came to him in jail. He spent 17 years in prison for murder. And he said he had to be broken to find God. Real McCoy, stabbed, shot. Not a fake gangster. Not the type to get up there and, hold a gun and do a rap song. He was saying you really have to be broken for God to hear you. He says, I've been in hell that'd burn the shoes off your feet in the first 5 minutes. I spent years there. There's nobody going to kill me before God. God knows when I'll die, not you, brother. Anyway, there's some really amazing story in that man's, Mr. Hardy, Michael Hardy. His decision to change his life was based upon him reaching out to God. And he said he had to be broken before he could hear God, before God would talk to him. He was in a hospital in Corcoran prison. Maybe you're listening to me in Corcoran. I don't know. I have a lot of people listen to me that you don't know about. Some of them are very tough people. Some are very weak people. So I'll conclude with this piece from that section. Yes, I understand exactly what he was saying. We lose our protection. And though Michael Hardy was ultimately 100% responsible for the crimes he committed, we can certainly do things to help future kids make better decisions than he did. It all starts with God. As individuals, as a nation, we must decide to seek him out, to turn our backs on the sins of our past, and to follow through on doing his will. It's up to each one of us. I wrote that in God, Faith, and Reason. I was inspired with that book. And I was inspired today when I got up to come and speak with you. As I lay in bed saying, what am I going to say to the audience today that's worth their time? Torah, the word of God, Talmud, the word of man. I got up and I prepared to speak with you, and I did. And I appreciate your being here, just as I appreciate your patronage on my podcasts and all the 26 years in radio. And tonight, as a Sunday night, I'm on Newsmax TV. If you're subscribed, I appreciate your patronage there. I love it. Tonight's show is a very good one. I don't remember what it is. I don't carry this around with me. Oh, I do know what it is. It's a really important show. Tonight's show is about the cold-blooded murder of the two Israelis outside the Jewish Museum just a week and a half ago, completely swept away by the media because the victims, although he was a Christian and she was Jewish, the victims were white Europeans and Israelis. So the vermin in the media like Anderson Cooper and Wolf Blitzer swept it away. You don't see the story anymore. They were executed by that guy, the Hispanic. And so there were several things wrong from the vermin in the media from their perspective. The shooter was not a white man. He was Hispanic. The victims were not to them. They were Israelis and white. So therefore, the story got swept away. There were young people about to be married. And the irony of this is that they were working on interfaith dialogue. They're working on peace with the Palestinians. They spent their whole life on interfaith subjects, and they were executed by this guy anyway. And as she lay dying, shot several times, this piece of garbage, this human trash, executed her in the street. But you forgot the story already. It's not as important as some slut's breasts or some old slut's abs. I don't understand this. 80-year-old people are now showing their abs on YouTube like I care. What idiots. Maybe I would have a bigger audience if I showed you my abs. Maybe I should show you how muscular I really am. Not. I'm in reasonably good shape for an 83-year-old man. I'm not going to get up and show you my abs and my biceps and my lats. I could work on it for 3 months and then show you, wow, look at that. And that's going to make you interested in me more because my body is in a better place than my spirit. Don't you understand that the important part here is what's here, not what's there? You get it? It's what's here, not what's there. It's what's here, not what's there between your legs, idiot. Pornography has destroyed the Western mind, where every man thinks that he's inadequate because he can't meet up to the imagery of the pornographic star, the porno star, who is large down there and small up here. It's what's here, not what's there. It's what's here and what's here, not so much what's there. You get it? So you want to reach God, do you? Well, don't ask me. Walk through the desert a long time, as I have, Walk in the desert, the hot desert, and scream out for God enough times, and just maybe he'll answer you. Maybe he won't. Maybe you think you're still a moron. You're still not worthy of him. He may not answer you, but you got to keep. What's your choice? You got to keep trying anyway. You get it? I'm trying to bring people back to God. That's the only thing I want to do in the later years of my life, which are these years. I've transitioned from radio star to podcasts, doing well, to TV on Newsmax. I went into TV rather late in my life, and here I have my own show. And it's very hard to do right, and we do it right. I try to make each show a Persian miniature and worthy of your attention on Newsmax TV every Sunday night. And the shows are good. Tonight's show is going to be one of my best, about the killing of those two young people by, I think his name was, I think it's Gonzalez. I don't remember his name. Very important show. But it typifies the vermin in the media tonight. And the reason America's in trouble, of course, it's been written and said by many, is because we've lost God. We don't talk to God anymore. Godlessness is in the air. This used to be a God-fearing nation. When we were a powerful nation, for right and for wrong, for good and for bad. I know all of the bad things that were done. I know all of the great things were done. When this was a God-fearing nation, it was a much better nation. We are now godless in Gaza. Huxley wrote eyeless in Gaza. We're now godless in America, by and large. I know that many of you are God-fearing and go to church, or some of you are Orthodox or pious Jews. I don't like to say Orthodox Jews. I like the word pious Jew is better. There are pious people and the people who just go there because they think they have to. Keep going. Even if you feel nothing in that church, go to that church with your wife and your children. Guys, sports will be still on the television when you get home. They'll still be there. Just go. Show your children that there is the right way and the wrong way. Put the 10 Commandments back in every schoolroom in America. Put that back on every schoolroom in America. Like I grew up in the Bronx. There were the 10 Commandments on the wall. And children drift off. They drift off. Their minds wander. And they look at what's on the wall, a map, a picture of George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. Now it's George Floyd instead of George Washington. Unbelievable. A sick country. A drug-addicted black gangster they turned into a god. Why? To divide America and cause murder, death, destruction, and disease. So you put the 10 Commandments back, and a kid drifts off, and he looks up at the ceiling, and he sees, "Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's stuff. Thou shalt not commit adultery," etc. The 10 Commandments. And it goes in the kid's head. It goes in. Children's minds are impressionable. That is why the trans movement is so powerfully oriented towards children. They want to confuse your boy and turn him into a girl. They want to confuse your girl and turn her into a boy, because Marxism depends upon breaking down the family and breaking down the whole concept of gender. That's what's behind it all. It's not about liberation of sexuality at all. People have been cross-dressing for ages. They did it in the privacy of their own home or in clubs, but never made it that our children had to watch that stuff. This is generated by cultural Marxists who want to break down the family by breaking down your child's mind. Fight them. Fight those vermin wherever you see them. Tell them, "Get the hell out of my children's classroom, you piece of garbage." Oh, yeah, if enough men stood up and said that and were willing to take the consequences, this would end overnight. Sorry for yelling. Leave the children alone. I've told you for years, I'm a sexual libertarian personally. I don't care what two adults do for this pleasure. But when you cross that line and you start screwing with the children, you don't know what hell is. And you should know what hell is for doing that to our children. That's why Trump is 100% right on this issue. I'm a little critical of Trump on the fiscal things and the airplane from Qatar. I'm totally opposed to that. But he's doing great things on our cultural front. He's doing great things on our border. So he's got great things on border and on culture, language. He still hasn't made English the official language, but it's only been a few months. On fiscal things, he's terrible, just awful. I don't like who's advising him on that. I don't want to drift into politics. I don't like his fiscal policies very much at all. I don't buy it at all. It's not working. He's wrong on the way he went around about the tariffs. It was too much too soon. He wasn't selective. It was just against everybody at once. It was wrong. Whoever advised him should be fired. I don't know whether it was Lufkin or whatever his name was, Litkin. Who the hell knows? Who gave him that advice to attack every country at once? This thing with Canada is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Who the hell is advising him to keep saying, oh, we'll turn you into the 51st state? Do you realize that because of that, he elected a far left liberal in Canada because the Canadians rallied around their own national identity because of Trump? What an error that was. You get it? You know, Trump is only a man. He's not God. And he's doing great things, but he's doing some foolish things. And you have to retain the ability to see the difference between the good, the bad, and the ugly, and have the guts to say them without fear of being called an anti-Trumper, as I've done. You think it's easy? I thought about it a long time. Oh, the minute you say one thing about Trump, they call you every name under the sun, because these are the same people who say bad things about Jews. They're the ignoramuses. The blind loyalists are blind. Blind loyalty is blind, and it's not good for America. I put America first, not man first. One day Trump will be out of office. They will still have an America to deal with. What are you going to do then? Sit and keep worshiping Trump? He'll be forgotten in time, whether he knows it or not. The sands of time wash over all of us, except the great, the truly great. And only time will tell who the truly great are. This thing with Canada, stupid. Leave it alone already, Donald. Let it go. Stop keep saying a 51st state like you're so smart, like a schoolboy. All you've done is elect a far left administration in Canada because the Canadians had enough of it. They're never going to give you, even the King of England had to come over and say it's a sovereign nation. Who does that to an ally like this? Who does that? And these insults day and night, calling his opposition scum. I could do it because I'm only a guy on YouTube or on X. He is the president of the United States. He's got to stop with these childish schoolyard bullying insults. They're embarrassing for all of us. There, I dare say it. So, I won't have an ice cream at Mar-a-Lago. I won't be on the Qatari Air Force One sharing a hot dog. But I can live with myself by being an independent conservative who is true to his values, me, and calling him as I see him, balls, strikes. I've done it for years. I've always said I'm an independent-minded conservative, balls and strikes. Why can't I continue to do it? Because Trump doesn't permit anyone to criticize him? Well, it's too bad. He would be a better man if he could take some criticism, and he'd be a better nation, by the way, if he could listen to some people who are not looking for favors. Mr. Trump, you're doing great on the border. Do more. Build that wall. Deport the criminals, not the gardeners. Leave the gardeners the hell alone. That's absolutely sickening to rip families apart who are working hard here and not abusing the system. It's terrible. Make English the official language. Voter ID laws, 100%. Get it? All good things. But you got to watch out with these zealotries. They can go in the wrong direction very fast. My friends, I think that's about it for today. It's a long day's journey into night. It's early in the morning. I'm having my coffee. As soon as I get finished, I'll go exercise a little bit. Long day's journey into night. Long day's journey into night. Days are long for those of us who are conscious and don't distract ourselves with our hats on backwards watching sports all day long, or obsess ourselves with politics, which is very much like sports for most people. And this is the unfortunate reality. When politics becomes like sports, where it's either you're on my team or you're on the other team or you're against us, that's dangerous. That's what's going on with the Trumpers. Either you're for him or you're against him. No, that's not the way it works. When George Bush was president, I watched him very carefully, and I said he's not practicing fiscal conservatism, Bush. He was practicing fiscal socialism. Remember that? How I was attacked for that? But I was right, wasn't I? Well, what Bush did by blowing up the budget is child's play compared to what Trump is doing. A $4 trillion increase in the debt is not fiscal conservatism. It's fiscal socialism that is very dangerous for now and for the future. Get it? And I'm going to say it the way it is. Am I the only one who sees this? No, many of you see it, but you're afraid to say it for fear you'll be called a liberal or a communist or an anti-Trumper. Well, dare to say it. No, Mr. Trump, you can't keep blowing up the budget like that. The bedrock of conservatism is fiscal conservatism, because if you can't balance the budget, then what the hell are you? Anyone could spend their way into a happiness and give everyone everything and buy popularity. That's not the way fiscal conservatism works. We can't afford it. And that, my friends, is all I have to say. If you like what you hear and you hear what you like, and you like me, hit the like button. If not, don't hit the like button, but you'll watch again anyway because you're addicted to me. So I told a story yesterday about a 102-year-old doctor, and he said his secret to his longevity, he's still practicing, is that he has a purpose in life. He gets up every day with a purpose. Well, I have a purpose every day. Today, this is my purpose, to get up and speak the truth right here on this channel that you're watching. It gives me great satisfaction to be able to air my grievances. Yes, we know how bad the liberals and the communists are. If you want to hear that, just turn on Fox News all day long. It's becoming so redundant and so boring. For some of them, just all they do is laugh at liberals like it's childish already. It's stupid. Why don't they start criticizing this administration when it makes mistakes? Then you'll know they have balls. But they're all currying favor because they're afraid to say one word for fear they'll be excommunicated from the Pope. That's not the way a country thrives. You've got to call the balls and the strikes and the misses. You get it? There's a guy I used to like on Fox News named Gutfield. He's not funny anymore. You know why? Anyone who tries to be funny all the time is not funny. For a long while, Gutfield was funny. He had a good writer and a good delivery. It's not funny anymore. To see him sit there like an infant with his mouth pursed up and read bad jokes, not funny anymore. He's got to go back to being funny. And he'll become funny when he dares criticize Donald Trump and some of Trump's policies or something that Republicans do. That's funny. Just sitting and bashing liberals is too easy. It's not funny anymore. Or bashing Tim Walz. The guy's a clown, Walz. Easy to criticize. How many times can you call him Tampon Tim? And that's supposed to be a laugh line? No, that's not funny. And here we are, my friends. Talmud, Torah, I told you the difference. Try to listen to this from the beginning before you comment. And remember what I just said to you. I quoted Bruce Lee. You can't learn to swim on dry land. What does that mean? If I have to explain it, you'll never understand it. Thank you for listening. Hit the like button. Subscribe. And that's it. Oh, my podcasts. What was my podcast for the week? I forget. They're good. I may as well give you a pitch for that. They were very good. I have to go to michaelsavage.com to find them. First, I have to find my own website. I never go on my own website. Here it is. Let's see what's... No, that's the YouTube channel. This me. Go to michaelsavage.com and you'll see my 500 episodes. In fact, I'm going to type it in because I'm interested myself now. I forgot what I did. I'm thinking of giving up my podcasts and just doing my television show.